Okay. Okay, here we go. Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Hello Kobe, Corbin, Taylor, Shabir. Hey guys, how are you? Hey everyone. My week was good. How was yours? Hey everyone. Thank you everyone. I hope you all had a great week as well. Nice cosplay. Thank you. Greetings for Carsa City. I can offer you my Batsu monstrosity. One day I'll play Assassin's Creed 2. It snowed in Florida. Well, that's definitely something crazy. Hey, Thomas. Would you classify yourself as being self-employed? Yeah, I am technically. I run my YouTube channel and I run 2 rental properties, so I am my own boss. Nice driving on Outrun, a recent Yakuza. Did you think my driving was good in Outrun? I wish I would have beaten the Electronics King. Thanks to my dumbass school corporation, we decided to have a fire drill in 20-degree weather, and probably plenty others got sick. Wow, did they at least let people get their coats? Thank you, Blinded Eagle, for the super chat. Good luck on 100% of Yakuza 0 Pro. It's one of the most tedious Yakuza games to 100%. Yeah, I'm gonna go for 100% it. I'm gonna do streams of it, but first I want to finish up those business stories. Hey, WRV. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney? I don't know. Maybe one day, but I'll be playing Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigation soon. Soon, within a couple days. Because that one I haven't played, but I did play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy, so I know all the answers and that. Hey, Rashawn. Yeah, I like cold weather, too. There you go. Good work, General. Okay. What, that should have gotten him. Whoa. It will be 2 years soon. Thank you for being a member of my channel for nearly 2 years, WRV. I appreciate it. I know Ned Luke streams GTA 5. I know that, yep.
Get this goddamn rope off me!
Sony ended their recordable Blu-ray production. That could be bad for physical media. What do you mean? Can you explain a little more, Zombie Fanatic? Do you think Pikmin from Fallout 4 is evil? Also, tomorrow is my birthday. Isn't Pikmin the serial killer that murders raiders?
God damn it.
Thank you, General's alert. And happy birthday, dude.
You will pay for this?
That's him. Yeah, about Pikmin, he's definitely not a good person, but, you know, at least he kills bad people. You know what I'm really excited... Speaking of Fallout, you know what I'm really excited for? I'm really excited for the ghoul update in Fallout 76. I'm gonna get to play as a ghoul, so I'm really curious how that's gonna be. So I'm looking forward to that, and I really hope that they add, they let you play as a super mutant in a future DLC, because I think that'd be even cooler. General, let's wait, until 5 minutes.
You will pay for this? Lock 'em up.
What's your favorite drink? Mine's an Aqua Velva. Thank you, DL Gaming. And the DL Gaming, I got your message the other day. I'm gonna read the rest of your story, this week coming up, and I'll message you on Discord about that. But you said your favorite drink is, Aqua Velva? I've never actually heard of that one. Oh, it's a form of alcohol? Wait, is it alcohol? I think it's a cocktail? Oh. Yeah, when you said what was my favorite drink, I thought you meant just in general. But I don't drink alcohol. I really don't. I don't drink any, you know, liquor, whiskey, beer. There are only 2 forms of alcohol that I will drink, and the only 2 forms of alcohol are wine and champagne. And I don't drink those commonly. Maybe I'll have like a glass of wine once a month, and champagne maybe for like a special occasion, but those are really the only 2 I'll drink. I don't drink anything else. Will I stream Outlast the Trials this year at all? Yeah, I'll stream. I'll play it. I can't give you an exact date, Aussie guy, because I got so many playthroughs and projects coming up, but I do want to get to that one. Yes, I played Outlast 1 and 2, and I like those games. Hey, Pro, I'm on right now. Can I join you? ID, Mackie Payne on friends list. Okay, sure. I can invite you, dude. Wait, what, Zombie Fanatic? Wait, the stream crashed? Is my stream okay right now? Stream looks fine on my end. Oh, I guess people are having some other issues then. For a split second it did. What? Stream is back? Okay, I don't know what's going on. That's weird.
Oh, come on. Another day on the job. Rehabilitation might be beyond them, but we may hope.
Let me make sure everything's okay here.
I guess all that's left is your payment.
Okay, you had a mid-roll ad pop up? Well, I don't do mid-roll ads on my channel. Those, I only have ads that appear on, at the beginning, and then when I upload as a video, then there'll be more ads on it, but I don't typically have mid-roll ads. It might be because the stream froze for like a second, and then you restarted it. Maybe that's why it did it. Do the high-res Guarma glitch? I don't even know what that is. Funk, can you what is that? Is it the glitch to get to Guarma? After ending Red Dead Redemption 1, game says Ross was FBI. Was FBI a thing back then? Also, being FBI, not FIB, does it mean GTA and Red Dead Redemption worlds are different? Yes, they're different worlds. I mean, they mentioned New York in Red Dead, which is Liberty City in the GTA world, so there is no New York in the GTA world. Thank you, Sayak. And FBI, FBI was a very new thing then. I would have to look up if it existed. I know the FBI existed as early as the 1930s, but... Sony aren't making any more Blu-ray players in-house anymore. What do you mean, like Blu-ray drives? They're not making that anymore? Did my opinion on Kuze change by the end of the game? Yeah, he kind of more respected Kiryu, he kind of more respected Kiryu at the end. You know, there was, I don't know if this was, I don't know if this was a little bit of symbolism, but have you guys noticed that at the very start of Yakuza 0, at the very start of the game, Kuze is the biggest scumbag at the start of the game. At the end of the game, he kind of like more respects Kiryu, but at the very beginning of the game, it was Shibasua who like patted Kiryu on the back, like in the room, like kind of like showing that he respects him, like when he exited the room. But it turns out that Shibasua was actually the biggest scumbag in the game, well, besides Dojima. But I don't know if that was a little bit of symbolism. I noticed that Shibasua was a bit more friendly to Kiryu at the start of the game. He was the friendliest out of all of them, but it turns out he was actually the biggest scumbag. Will I stream Outlast Trials at all this year? Yes, I will. This year I will. Bossy guy. Thank you for the super chat. Awano was a big scumbag, but you have to think about the same time that Shibasua killed more people and he got more people killed than Awano. Awano killed the girl, which is horrible, but Shibasua did more bad things. Oh, and also, what happened to Shibasua? Because, people were telling me that he doesn't appear in any of the other Yakuza games, anymore. Did he, like, get arrested? Like they said? What about Red Dead by John Marston in Franklin's house and the Epsilon program linked to Francis Sinclair? Also, please play Driver, Parallel Lines. It's, those books are more like Easter eggs. They're not necessarily canon. Pinched by the cops. Oh, that's what happened to Shibasua. Okay. Kuze and Shibasua got arrested, but isn't Kuze in the other Yakuza games? Well, the Epsilon program is canon in GTA, but it's, yeah, but I don't think it really means anything at being in Franklin's house. A Kanan Lynch character named Peter Stack. I don't remember. What did he do? Hey, GB, can you remind me what Peter Stack did? Kuze doesn't appear in any of the other games either. Oh, okay. Pro, what's in the creator's kit that Rebellion sent you? I cannot really talk about that, because there's an embargo on that until the 27th. But I also got to play Sniper Elite Resistance, so I started playing it. I have it right now, but I cannot talk about anything in the game until the 27th. The only thing I can say about the creator's kit is it's World War II related. That's the only thing I can say about it, but I cannot, I'll have a video of it on the 27th. Stream cut out again? Wait, did it do it again? Hey Patrick, happy Friday, man. Are you planning on doing a playthrough Metal Gear Solid 2 anytime soon? Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Eric, for being a member of my channel for over 4 years. A playthrough of, Metal Gear Solid 2 this year, I just don't know when, but sometime this year. Is it doing it again? Is my mobile? It works on your TV, but mobile stream keeps crashing. Is the stream okay now, guys? I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it's doing that. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't have any mid-roll ads. Typically, it's just because my stream crashes for like a second, and when people restart the stream, it like sees it as you like restarting it, so like the ad appears again, so I'm sorry about that. No, I have ads on my streams, but my policy is I have the ad at the start of the stream. That's the ad that I have. I don't typically have mid-roll ads. That I don't have. I have mid-roll ads when I upload the stream as like a video, but because like the streams crash for like a moment and then people restarted it, it appears again. But Cheshpat, hello Michael. Would you do a cosplay playthrough Fallout New Vegas? It's my favorite Fallout. Yes, yes. But before I do that, I still have to complete the Fallout 3 DLCs. Any tips for GTA Online beginners? Invest in the businesses, like especially the Asset Lab. The Asset Lab is a great beginning business because you don't need to have really anything else, and you can just buy supplies for it and it'll produce easily. Why don't you want to play Metal Gear Solid 2? I do want to play Metal Gear Solid 2. I said I'll play it this year. I just have a lot of games to play at the moment, Snake. It's a lot of stuff to do, but yeah, I'm gonna play it too. Do you have plans to do Outlast 2 and Red Dead Redemption 2 single-player story time this year? Outlast 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm probably gonna do later this year. I'll do the story for it. Outlast 2, Outlast 2, I actually did Outlast 2 before. I actually did it. I did a playthrough of it. I thought you were talking about Outlast Trials for a moment. That one I didn't do. But Outlast 2, if you go on my channel and just look up Outlast 2, it was like years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, I did a playthrough of it. It wasn't like cosplay or anything, but I did do a playthrough of it. It's one big video. It's like a 6-hour video. Yeah, and guys, also for that Rider lore video, about the Rider lore video is it's gonna come out in about 2 weeks. Let me actually tell you guys what it is here, because I'm still disputing the copyright claim. Take-Two Interactive made a stupid copyright claim against the Rider lore video, but I'm gonna win the claim. I definitely will win the claim, but every single time I've disputed a copyright claim from Take-Two, I've won it, and it's annoying because they always let the stupid they have 30 days to respond, and they never respond, and then after 30 days the video gets released, but it says dispute expires in 15 days. So right after 15 days, the video will be released, and it's a really long lore video. It's a really long one. It's a really good one. I wish I could have given it to you guys 2 weeks ago, but it was that stupid copyright claim that did it. Didn't you play Mercenaries a few years back in 2020? Yes, I did.
What you doing this for? ¿Qué te pasa?
Oh, okay, Gunner. What class grade was very, Sony aren't making Blu-ray players anymore. Okay. What class grade was very forgettable for you? Think about that one. Maybe 11th grade. Don't really remember that many things happened in 11th grade. Okay, let me go do another mission now. My favorite town, Red Dead Redemption 2, probably Valentine. Okay, let me head over the roads. Is technical custom worth it? Not really. You need 2 people to fully, use it. I mean, I guess you could park it with 1 person, get on the gun, but it's the most effective with 2 people. No, I haven't, Gunner. You know, the thing is, you said that you missed 8th grade mostly because of COVID. You know, I wonder what that did to kids' mental health during that time, because kids weren't able to go to school and interact with their peers, with other kids, and I wonder if that had any effect on their mental health. It possibly did. Definitely wasn't good. Because I cannot imagine something like that growing up, like, not going to school for, like, nearly a year. I can't imagine something like that. Is Mercenaries 1 or 2 a better game? It depends on who you ask. My view is Mercenaries 1 is the better game, because Mercenaries 1 is more serious, it's darker. I like the map and the story better in Mercenaries 1. Have I seen Hot Fuzz, the British police movie? Yes, I've seen that one. Aside from the Rider lore videos, what other lore videos do you have planned? I have one other lore video that I've fully recorded. The only thing I need to do is I need to edit it, because I made kind of more of a historical lore video. I was initially gonna release it during my World at War playthrough, but then I started traveling in for the Fallout event in like November, and then went to visit family for like 2 months, and I never got around to finishing it. But I had like a lore video planned for World at War, which was, you know how on my World at War playthrough I was like reacting to a lot of those like downfall World War II movie scenes, and I was like explaining like the backstory behind it, and like the same time was going on in World at War. I recorded like a video of just basically me breaking down that Hitler scene when he's in the bunker and he's just ranting and he's freaking out and getting all pissed off. I basically recorded that scene. I talked about how historically accurate it is, what's going on, basically. And I was relating it to World at War and what was going on at the Battle of Berlin at the same time. And I finished recording that video. The only thing I have to do is just have to edit that and basically put that together. So it's kind of a World at War lore video. I do have a second lore video for World at War, which is top 10 most darkest moments in World at War, where like I break down the top 10, you know, darkest and most brutal moments that you see in the game. Been a few years since checking in, but I'm glad you're still streaming. Thank you, Isaac. I'm currently in the Northern Province in Mercenaries 1. Does that mean I'm halfway through the story? Yes. The Mercenaries only has 2 maps, the Southern and the Northern map. So, basically, there's 4 chapters in the game. Chapter 1 is the clubs cards, Chapter 2 is diamonds, Chapter 3 is the hearts, and then Chapter 4 is the spades. That one will come out next week, Wasabi Guy. I also, I'll tell you guys this also. The hotel that I stayed at in Las Vegas was terrible, and I actually recorded my experience. I have like a bunch of clips. I just never edited it, but that video I'll release next week. So next Saturday I'll release that video, like me ranting about this hotel. And I actually, all the bad things that happened in the hotel, I recorded almost all the bad things. So almost all the bad things that happened I recorded. The one thing that sucks is the worst thing that happened at the hotel, I didn't record. So, like, the worst thing that happened there... And Chas, are you still here? Are you still here in the chat by any chance? Because it was me and my friend Chas Rooney. We were going to the Fallout event in Vegas, and he was at the hotel when it happened. But basically, we were woken up at, like, it was 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was a fire alarm that went off. Like, this fire alarm, and basically everyone just ran out of the hotel, went in the parking lot. I didn't record my camera, I didn't get my phone or anything. The only thing I thought about is I just thought about leaving, so I didn't even think about that. But I should have probably recorded it. And we don't even know what caused the fire alarm. We think, we suspect somebody pulled it as like a prank in the hotel. Some kids probably. But basically what happened is, we went in the parking lot, and it was like 40 degrees in the parking lot, and pretty much everybody that was on that floor was in their pajamas in the parking lot at like, 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like 40 degrees outside. And to me, the cold doesn't really bother me that much, but a lot of other people were shivering. And we sat out in the parking lot for like 10 minutes, and nobody came out from the hotel. Nobody came out from the hotel and said, yeah, you guys can come back in. Nobody did. So we were just out there. And then what happened is we walked back in the hotel, and we walked in the lobby where there's a casino, and everybody was just playing in the casino. So apparently the fire alarm never went out on the casino floor. And I wanted to complain to management, but the thing is, there was a giant line to complain at management already, and I was like exhausted, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. The next day I complained to management about that, the fact that we went in the parking lot, and we didn't even know what happened. We didn't know if it was safe to go back in the hotel. We waited for like 10 minutes. Nobody from the hotel came to get us. And the guy like apologized, and he gave us a discount, and he also upgraded me to like a premium room. So I guess there was that. He did that for me, but there was a lot of other stuff. Like the rooms in the hotel were dirty. When we went to the restaurant, we got served, my friend got served raw chicken. That actually happened. The chicken was actually raw. I recorded that, by the way, the raw chicken. What else did I record? I recorded there was garbage in the hallway, and that garbage was there for like 3 days, and nobody cleaned it up. It was right next to the elevator. The elevators in the hotel were constantly broken. I recorded that. There was a lot of things that were going on in the, a lot of bad things I recorded that was going on there. I'll upload a video on the, I'll upload a video on the hotel. I'll upload it next Saturday. I don't think they're gonna respond to that, Conduit. Did you get a refund? No. Oh, and by the way, I got charged a $300 deposit at that hotel. I got the deposit back when I exited the hotel, but I don't stay at a lot of hotels. Is that normal? Do hotels actually do something like that, or is that... Because that, I was just generally surprised by that. I almost never stay at hotels, so I don't know, but that that kind of surprised me. Yes, I'll play Spec Ops The Line. Which hotel was this? This was the Oyo Hotel in Vegas. That one. The only reason I picked that hotel was because it was on the Strip and it was like the best price. Out of all the hotels, it was the best price and it was right on the Strip. So I thought it was a good deal, but I should have read the damn reviews. I should have read the reviews before I checked in. It was my bad. I learned my lesson though. Is I'm gonna always check the reviews in the future. So it was a.
Faites attention. The time has come, yes? The new batch is prepared, and these buyers are worth impressing, yes? I have done my part.
No, I haven't, Snake.
Now you must do yours.
Yes, Mafia. We will do all the Mafia games this year.
Superior. Something that will bring them crawling back for more. And now you must let nothing stand in your way, not even the revenue.
What were the reviews in the hotel? Terrible.
On your way.
Absolutely terrible.
Bon route.
No, Drifter kids, I didn't. My night's going good, Jacob. How are you? The scam call I got from my grandma's phone is from India. The scammer is pretending to be someone who works in an apartment complex. Is it a common scam? I've never heard of a scam like that, but it probably is because they might be calling you up and saying that they're the landlord or something like that and just trying to get easy money from you. So I don't know on that one. No, I haven't seen them smooth, but I know Dexter is the serial killer TV show. Who do you think would win in a fight? The Favela Militia in Modern Warfare 2 or the Commando Sombre in Max Payne 3? Commando Sombra. Yeah, they would win. The Oyo Reister. Why doesn't Call of Duty make World War II games anymore? Because the Activision thinks that people don't like World War II games anymore, which that's not true. It just, if you make a good World War II game, but the thing about that is if Call of Duty was to make a good World War II game, it would be a double-edged sword, because a good World War II game would not have deep customization. Normally I like a lot of customization in games, but when it comes to a World War II game, I don't want customization because it's just so unrealistic. Like, when you see this ridiculous stuff like in Call of Duty Vanguard, like, people running around with, like, bolt-action rifles with, like, no stock. You have, like, crap like that. Like, you have, like, people converting an M1 Garand to, like, fire, like, you know, Mauser rounds. It's, like, stupid. It's dumb. It makes no sense. It's idiotic. World War I Call of Duty, oh, they definitely won't. Do I feel like Red Dead Online is neglected? Of course, 100%. Most devastating tornado? I'm not sure. That... The only thing I can say about tornadoes, if, we've had, a few warnings here in the Midwest, here where I live, in the upper Midwest, but I've never, I've never been, like, near the center of it, or anything like that. But you know what I find the creepiest about tornadoes, and dust storms specifically? That the sky can turn black really quickly. Like, it can be sunny, and then it can turn black within, like, you know, a few minutes. It's scary. Who's the worst modern dictator, in your opinion? If you're talking about the most brutal dictator, today, probably Kim Jong-un in North Korea. Well, there's a theory that Daniel Lam is Zero. Okay, well, hopefully it goes good for you, Aiden. No, I haven't seen the JFK clip. Well, he's bad too, April Enemy, but I'm more talking about just a dictator based on just authoritarianism alone. Like, I think Kim Jong-un is probably the most authoritarian dictator in the world. Can anyone join my Red Dead lobby? Are you on my friends list? I'm in a private session, but, Yakuza lore videos. I don't know if I would be good to do a Yakuza lore videos, because it's only my first Yakuza game is Yakuza 0. And I think I would have to play the other Yakuza games to understand the characters better, too. What do you think is the best way to save up for a PS5? If you're a student, DoorDash and Uber Eats, probably. That would probably be the best way, because DoorDash and Uber Eats you can just do on your time, so it's not going to interfere with your, you know, studies. Have you ever been stream sniped? Oh, of course, so many times. I've probably been stream sniped over 1,000 times. That's how much has happened. I don't know if I got stream sniped last week even, because last week there was a cheater that was attacking me and harassing me in Red Dead Online. Like I couldn't kill him, and he was actually cheating. Like, most of the people that saw it were thinking that he was cheating, because I shot him with a shotgun. He fell to the floor, and while he was on the floor, he was like rolling around, and he shot me in the head. I don't know how that happened, and it happened multiple times. Yeah, people have recommended me to play Judgment. My favorite Red Dead Online event? Probably Fool's Gold. try the other Fallout games, Francisco. You're missing out on a lot by not playing them. Oh crap, I'm tying him up in the water. Oh, great. Okay. What do you think of the VZ 1928 Polish Browning? I know what you're talking about. It's the Polish it's the Polish Vis like World War II pistol. Yes, it's semi-automatic pistol. That one, it never really went into full production though. But it was a pretty well-designed handgun. It seriously baffles me how a doctor, former chiropractor, stole 1.4 million from his own orphans trust fund 15 years ago, yet he's allowed to make content even if clickbait. Even Logan Paul roasted this guy. Who? What channel is this? Blinded Eagle? That sounds horrible. Yeah, Skyrim is, here's a big tip for Skyrim. If you don't want to deal with any dragons in Skyrim, just don't do the main story. When you know, you can level up, you just won't unlock shouts. But that's one way, because, honestly, the dragons in Skyrim are some of the most annoying things that I've ever, encountered in a video game. And the most annoying thing about the dragons in Skyrim is that they appear out of just nowhere, and they attack towns. And they kill all the NPCs, and they kill essential NPCs that you need for, like, quests and stuff like that, and I find that just so annoying.
God damn it. Captured again.
Can you call in a bounty wagon, General? My wagon is glitching out. It's getting annoying here.
Are you goddamn cocksucker? Good lord. You don't.
Daniel Pompa. Okay. Okay, Blinded Eagle.
I ain't got time for that.
The Polish Browning light machine gun. That one, it fires 8mm Mauser, I know that. How many days for the Rider lore video to be released from the claim? 15 days.
Foolish bastard.
I finally got my wagon. Let me help with this. I'm making my own Saints Row OC named Marina Irons, who work with the Saints sometimes. She's Hispanic and the daughter of a U.S. Marine. What? Oh, I killed a bounty target. Oh well. What's OC? What is that? Is that a story or? Oh, original character. Okay.
You foolish bastard.
Oh, by the way, Chaz, I'm gonna have the hotel review video next Saturday. And I was telling people about the fire alarm that went off. Do you remember that? I don't know if you were here when I was telling that earlier. What's that one, Wasabi guy?
You want to pay for this?
I wish you luck in that, Orion. I love Saints Row, and it's a shame what they did to the series, too.
Oh, shucks.
You mean the homeless, park? Wasabi guy? Is that what you're talking about in Yakuza? Do you remember the plane that crashed in front of you in Quarry? Yes, I remember that. Is the Ryder lore video as big as the Claude lore video? The Ryder lore video is 40 minutes long. Bro, you are going to pop off when GTA 6 releases. You're an awesome content creator. Thank you, Dangle. Thanks, man. Yeah, Saints Row 3 and 4 weren't Saints Row games, but at least they were fun, I will say that. Your Claude lore video is one of my favorites. Thank you, Dan. I don't want to get into the politics, Andrew. I typically stay away from that.
I know it isn't always easy, but I'm glad you're...
Well, happy birthday to your friend Rafina.
That there is what the state deems their worth.
That I didn't know, Gunner. Also, Pro, was the whole story of Yakuza 0 just about the empty lot? I tried to follow along, but Japanese media lose me sometimes. The empty lot is more like the catalyst that causes everything. So it ultimately, you know, everything comes back to the empty lot. It's kind of basically what caused it all. But one thing I will say about Japanese games is Japanese games can get very complicated with their storylines. Like, even, it was my first time playing a Yakuza game, and people told me that I could start on Yakuza 0, that's the one I could start with, and sometimes I was getting confused in the storyline, too. Like, I was getting, and people in the comments were, like, correcting me, and, like, telling me, answering, like, my questions and what I was getting confused on, but even I was getting confused in a little bit. And the thing is, though, is that at the very beginning of the game, there are so many characters, and so many of them have long names, and it's like trying to remember all the characters, and, you know, all of them and who they are, and, you know, what's going on. So I guess Japanese games do that, where they introduce us a lot of characters, and they throw so much of the story to you at once. Yeah, Claude is a terrifying guy. Well, there'll be... A lot of people are very curious about those documents. The only country I've ever traveled to is Poland. The actor who played Kronstein is named Władek Szabał, and this guy immigrated to the UK in 1950s, and he managed to escape from a concentration camp twice during the Nazi occupation. Oh, it's horrible what he went through. But he escaped twice, though. That's crazy. Wait, what, Brandon? My favorite lore video to make on my on my channel. Maybe the Bismarck video or the Dimitri video. But I have a lore video that I'm gonna release this year, and the video that I'm gonna release this year, it's probably gonna release somewhere near the end of the year. And the reason the video is gonna take so long to make is because I want to include a Yakuza character on that list. But I'm making a video on top 10 most evil criminals in crime games. So I'm going to be looking specifically at crime games, and I'm going to list off the top 10 most evil characters in crime games. And I want to have one Yakuza character on there, because Yakuza is a very popular crime game series. But I would have to play the other Yakuza games to see, like, who the most evil character is.
You all handled that last one real cool.
Well, for when it comes to GTA characters, I only have 2 GTA characters on that list. For the top 10 most evil criminals in crime games. The reason is because there's so many GTA games out there, so I don't want the whole video just to be GTA characters. I have one character, the most evil character in the 3D universe of GTA, and then one character that's the most evil in the HD universe. I think you guys can guess who I chose on that list for the most evil character in the GTA HD universe.
A whole network of distribution. Yeah, by land and water. Used to be all freight moved by water up rivers. Not so much now, but I like it. Less bandits out there. On them my boats.
Yeah, you got it right, Hustler. It's Dimitri and Tenpenny.
She's holding them on the Montana by Stillwater Creek. Get them, okay? I will reward you.
And also, believe it or not, Dimitri is the most evil character in the entire GTA series. So out of all the GTA games, out of all of them that's ever been released, I think Dimitri is the most evil one. But he's not the most evil on my list. So my list for top 10 most evil criminals, he's not number 1 on the list. He's actually number 3. So there's actually, from 2 other games, there's actually 2 other criminals that I think are even worse than him. And you could probably think, who's worse than Dimitri? Well, there are 2 other characters in 2 other games. I don't want to spoil them that are even worse than him. I only watch YouTube videos about Fallout, not play the actual game. Well, that's fine, Francisco, too. I found your channel via the Big Smoke lore video. Oh, okay, Silver, Scarf. I'm glad my lore videos have been getting out there. What do you think about reality shows that are nothing but drama like 90 Days? Personally, I think it's pathetic how some people follow those. I've actually never heard of 90 Days. What is that show about? But I will tell you, some of these reality shows, I find them so cringe. You know what show? You know what show I used to watch when I was a kid? The show I used to watch when I was a kid. I used to watch Lizard Lick Towing. That's what I used to watch. Anybody know that one? It was like the 2 southern cousins, and they're like running like a towing business, and they're like encountering like the crazy people when they're trying to like repo when they're like repoing cars, and they get into fights and stuff like that. But how cringe it like when I got older, I realized how cringy it was, and I realized most of this is fake. This is not real. There's no way some of this stuff is real, like that's going on. Oh, Lizard Lick Towing is this reality TV show. It's about 2 Southerners. I think they're from, is it South Carolina? I think that's where they're from. But basically, the reason people remember it for being Southerners is because the 2 cousins that are in the show have like really big Southern accents. But it was like a, it was them like running this repo business that they had where they would like repo people's cars who like defaulted on their payments. And the thing is that the videos that they had, like, some of the stuff was real on Lizard Lick Towing, like, it actually happened. But a lot of the other stuff was, like, nonsense. If you can write the ending to Kane and Lynch, how would you write it? Well, personally, even though the Kane and Lynch games are very dark, I would like Kane and Lynch to actually have happy endings. Even though they're both pretty bad people, the reason I want them to both have happy endings is because the thing is, Kane and Lynch did some really awful things, and Lynch specifically did the worst things. But despite Kane and Lynch doing some really bad things, all the bad things that they did, I feel like all those bad things were forgiven for them killing Shang-Chi. Like, I felt like it was just made up for, like, you know, forgiven. For them, like, all the people that they've killed for killing Shang-Chi, I felt that was, like, more of their, redemption. That's more what I would call it. Because when you really think about it, when Kane and Lynch killed Shang-Chi, they saved thousands of lives. You know, it doesn't bring back the people they killed, obviously, but when they killed Shang-Chi, they saved thousands of lives. Because it's just the amount of people that Shang-Chi killed, and he would keep killing, like, that guy was, like, the absolute worst. What do you think about JFK, RFK, and Martin Luther King files being released soon? Do you think they'll be interesting to finally see? Yes, definitely. I think it'll be definitely interesting to see what's in them. And why have those files even been classified in the first place? That's the question. Why has that been, why was that, classified to begin with? That should have been released to the public decades ago. Thank you, Mario, for the super chat. Tell the chat what happened to us on DMZ the other day, Brandon. Which story specifically? Because a bunch of stuff happened. No more deals. Yeah, Lynch says that. And you want to know something? There's something pretty ironic about the ending to Kane and Lynch too. The reason it's kind of ironic is because when you think about it, throughout the series, Kane was always the... Oh crap! I didn't want to do that. Kane was typically the guy that was the most reasonable in the Kane and Lynch series. And Lynch was the one that was the most unreasonable. But at the end of Kane and Lynch 2, it was actually... Lynch was actually the one who was right for once. So typically, Kane was the one who was right, but Lynch was the one who was right. When he said no more deals and he killed Shang-Chi, they couldn't have trusted Shang-Chi 100%. They couldn't have trusted him. Who's that, Brennan? Is he a YouTuber? The name sounds familiar. No, I don't think he can, Gunner. Take out the revenue agents? Okay. There we go. What was your PSN, Richard? Because I think I tried to add you, but I couldn't find you. Can you remind me what the PSN is again? Any plans for investigations? Yes, I got a cosplay for Ace Attorney Investigations in a few days. We'll start it. It's unfortunate we didn't get Kane and Lynch 3. Yeah, we didn't. It would have been a great series too. The story when we tried to get to the Xville quickly. Oh yeah, we tried to get to an Xville on DMZ a couple days ago. I was playing with Brandon and got jumped by a 4-man squad that came out of nowhere. When it was we were playing on that game on that game for like 30 minutes too. We were a bit pissed. Pro, I got 4 raid missions for MC businesses back to back. Is that normal? No, but that can happen if you don't sell your business stock for some time. That can happen. But here's a tip to prevent that from happening to you in the future. When your business gets raided, right? That business is not going to get raided again, at least not for some time. The next business that's going to get raided is another business. So if you encounter like a raid, right? Save the business, and then right after you save it, disband the MC, and drive to your other business that's full, and then form the MC inside the business. Because if you form the MC inside the business, you can't get raided while you're inside. That way, you can sell that next business and avoid the next raid from happening. Is this PS5? Well, I'm playing on a PS5, but this is Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a PS4 version. Do I think the Phantom in Ace Attorney is CIA? No, we don't know what country he's from. But Ace Attorney takes place in America, so it wouldn't really make sense for, like, a CIA agent to do that there. What the Phantom did, in Ace Attorney, a CIA agent could definitely be capable of that. Like, committing murders like that, I could definitely see that. But that character itself, we never find out what country he's working for. The only thing we know is he's a ruthless spy. But I don't, so a lot of people think that he was a spy from Borginia. That's what a lot of people think, that he was from Borginia, with the fictional country in Ace Attorney. But it's never been explained what country he's from. Oh, that's probably why, Richard. I remember everyone trashing Kane and Lynch 2 and when it first came out, but after I watched your playthrough, I didn't think the game was as bad as people said it was. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know why people were making such a big deal out of it. When are we getting the next Mercenaries POD video? I've been vibing with the series, especially the missions with the Chinese and the Russian Mafia. Thank you. I'm gonna upload the next part tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll have the next part up. I don't know, Major. Does anybody know how to bypass the timer on Call to Arms? Major wants to know. Mirror's Edge, that game was big when I was a kid, but I never played it. I know what it was. It was like the parkour game. It was on the PS3. Oh, this is where Dutch's base is, this place. Getting better at free aim. Yes, Red Dead Redemption 2 will do this year. I went to watch your Kane and Lynch 2 series, but the only thing stopping is the torture scene. Is it like something out of Saw? Because I cannot handle that. I understand, Orion, and the torture scene in Kane and Lynch 2 is probably the darkest scene that I've seen in a crime game. Probably, yeah. That scene was just, yep. And the worst part about that scene, it wasn't even what they did to Kane and Lynch. It was actually what they did to Zoo, Lynch's girlfriend. Yes, I'll play Mercenaries 2, yes. Thank you, Orion, for that super chat. Probably the adrenaline that kicked in, Gunner. Oh, thank you, Frankie. Largest super chat today, $50 super chat. Everyone give a special shout out there to Frankie. Hello, professional. I wish Rockstar would release Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories. Any thoughts? Also, I can't wait for Mafia the Old Country. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Frankie. And I want to see a Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories Definitive Edition. I'd love that. But we're probably not going to get it as much. We probably might get Liberty City Stories, maybe, and that's a big if. But we're definitely not going to get Vice City Stories because they would have to bring back a contract with Phil Collins, and I don't think Rockstar's going to bother to do that. Thanks, Frankie.
Damn idiot.
I'm more like the single shot guns, like the Springfield Rifle Dreadnought Warrior. I wish there was another Mafia GTA story like Liberty City Stories. Well, the thing is, though, is that a lot of the different games, a lot of the different GTA games, we kind of got different themes to it. The Mafia theme was Liberty City Stories. The Cartel GTA game was Vice City Stories. The Street Gangster story was GTA San Andreas. Biker story was The Lost and Damned.
You piece of shit.
Is it true that you're a Lipka Tatar? Yes, but my father is a, my dad is a Tatar, but my mom is Slavic, so I guess that makes me half Tatar. Oh yeah, GTA Chinatown Wars is a triad theme to it, almost forgot about that, yeah. Patrick, do expose Inside Edition fake stories. If they've done fake stories in the past, maybe I could make a video on that, but if they make another fake story, I might make a video just debunking it. If it's like anything to do with politics, I don't want to, comment on it, but if it's like, if it's something like that cop story, I could definitely do a video like that, QC. Pro beefing with small media. Well, Inside Edition isn't really small media, though. What I was asking was, is it horrible, gory, and bloody? Because I'm sensitive about that kind of thing, and I don't want to see that. That's my question. In Kane and Lynch? Is that, well, the torture scene is in 2 missions. It's in the prologue. It tells you, like, you know, what happened. Like, it's like, and then it says, like, you know, 3 days earlier or something like that. And then there's that one part with the torture scene. But yeah, it's very much in the game, Orion. But here's what I'll tell you about it. The torture scene in Kane and Lynch 2 is probably the worst torture scene that I've seen in a crime game. It's not the worst torture scene I've seen in a game. The worst torture scene I've seen in a game is probably Outlast, but the worst torture scene that's in a crime game specifically would probably be Kane and Lynch. Kane and Lynch 2. So if you're sensitive to that type of stuff, don't watch the Kane and Lynch series. You can watch my multiplayer video, the multiplayer video on Kane and Lynch 2. There's nothing, you know, like that in the multiplayer video. Hey, Bunny, where do you rank the one that was in Yakuza 0? You mean the one that happened to Majima? It's up there, but it's not as bad as the Kane and Lynch scene, because it was just, the Kane and Lynch scene is just way longer. And also, the Majima torture scene didn't result in anybody's death. The Kane and Lynch scene resulted in Zoo's death. Top 10 torture scenes in games? Well, I could make a video like that, but if I made that video would get demonetized so quickly. Oh, the Tachibana scene, yeah. Oh, yeah, forgot about that one. That one was pretty brutal, too. Didn't people tell me that there was a funny video of me on Twitter of basically, like, after Tachibana died, like, I said, like, when the chapter ended, oh, I got, like, you know, 200 million yen, I can invest that in the business. Like, apparently somebody, like, somebody uploaded a video of that, of me saying that. What level are you? I am level 453. Wait, what do you mean, Orion? I answered your question. No, it can't, Radiant. There really isn't much bullet penetration in this game. Very little to none. What do you eat on a daily basis? I eat all kinds of food. Sorry for bothering you about the retail rant videos. You're not bothering me. What's your question, Vertigo? I didn't see your comment earlier. What's your question? What about the video of you debunking that Claude is Michael theory? You know, the thing about that is, maybe I'll make a video, top 5 stupidest GTA theories. Like, maybe I'll, like, do a video on that, and Claude is Michael is one of the stupidest ones up there. Yes, Hustler, I will. I don't know what it is, Dan. People told me about it on one of my streams, but is you having to react to your viewers' horrendous retail experiences. I imagine it won't be as long as the other 2. Yeah, I could maybe do something like that. Pat should do the worst DMZ players. Yeah. Top 7 video game franchises that'll likely never return. Saints Row would be number 1 on that list. Isn't Fugu that really poisonous fish, Gunner? Well, Dwight Eisenhower, I think, was a pretty decent president. You know, he built the highway system. He ended the House of Un-American Activities Committee. That was really stupid. I don't think there's really anything bad during his presidency. Order supplies. Here we go.
Impatient, ain't you?
Oh, and also, Eisenhower was the president who, he sent the National Guard into, I think it was Arkansas, right? It was Arkansas because there was that racist governor that did not want to desegregate the schools, and Eisenhower ordered it, done. But the governor just refused to comply, and so he sent like the National Guard in to protect the kids as they were going to school. That was another good thing that he did. So Eisenhower stopped that. So there was this racist governor that was in, I think it was Arkansas. It was either Arkansas or Alabama, and he tried to basically Eisenhower gave an order that the schools were to be desegregated, and he refused to comply with that. And what happened was when black kids were trying to go to school, they were getting attacked by angry mobs of people. And so what Eisenhower did was he sent like the National Guard in to protect the kids. It was Alabama. Okay, it wasn't Arkansas. It was Alabama. Then I was close. I forgot to tell you that, Storm. My customers bought their pets inside even though there was a sign that said no. People will ignore that. And the thing is, though, the management is scared to confront them on that. And the reason that management is scared to confront them on that is because they're scared they'll complain. But, like, you have rules in your store for a reason, and you just let people get away with breaking the rules because you're scared of them complaining. It's stupid. The only time I had management actually tell people, confront customers, the only time I've actually seen it, is when customers smoke inside the store. So I've seen customers smoke cigarettes inside the store before. When I've seen that happen, then management comes out really quickly and they confront them. And the only reason they do that is because that's illegal. You can't do that. But everything else, no matter what the rules of the store they're broken, they never confront them on anything. So it's like, what's the point of having rules in the store if you're not going to enforce those rules? To be fair, some people have service pets. Oh, I know that, and that's those are acceptable. But when we're talking about pets in store, we're not talking about the service animals, though.
Maybe I overdid it a little.
Did I answer your question, by the way, Orion? Well, Vertigo. Some reservations are really some reservations have pretty bad conditions, and there is a one thing about Native American reservations that people don't know is that Native American reservations have the highest rate of alcoholism in America, or at least one of the highest rates. Like, I didn't know that alcoholism was so high on a lot of Native American reservations. I didn't know about that until just a few years ago. Like, I read a bunch of stats on it, but it is like a very big alcohol problem on like a lot of reservations. But it's probably due to the fact that a lot of reservations have very, very high unemployment rates. That might play a factor into it too. Galante, 100% Gunner Galante. Wasn't the highway primarily created for the military industrial? Well, it was created so the military could transport stuff too, but it helped citizens more than the military. So really, when you think about it, it's a win-win. It helps the military and it helps the citizens. Didn't Eisenhower allow a CIA coup to happen against Sukarno in Indonesia? That I don't know. Hey, Pat, you there? Yeah, I'm here, Phoenix. How are you? Oh, wow, there's a lot of guards on this one. There's only one target, okay.
You can't be back there. Move. Somebody do something! Oh my god! I'll fight! Somebody please help!
I sound and talk like Michael Malice. Who's that?
God, please help me!
Why did Hitler use V2 rockets to hit the bridge at Remagen? It was more of like a symbol for him. He didn't want the Allies to get across, and he was just so furious at that. And the thing is though, is that a lot of these officers that were at Remagen, they actually surrendered pretty quickly to the American forces, like the commanders at Remagen. And the reason they did that was because Hitler was telling them no retreat, no surrender, no matter what. And like this was like, you know, this was basically 2 months before Nazi Germany fully collapses. So it was like Germany was on its last legs at that point, and Hitler was just going on these crazy rants. He was like just panicking and just getting more angry in his bunker. And like a lot of those officers, like the lieutenants and the captains at like Remagen, they were scared that if they had actually retreated, they would be executed. So that's why they a lot of them surrendered to the Americans right away. They knew that the war was over. They didn't want to die for Hitler, and so they were just terrified that if they surrendered, if they retreated, that Hitler would have them executed. Well, I think that you know, GTA has just been this hyped up game that GTA 6 just can't fail. It can't. Because if GTA 6 fails, that's gonna be like Rockstar's downfall. It'll be over. Oh, what horse am I using? This is the Black Arabian horse. Do you think getting a 100% synchronization in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is really frustrating? Some of the synchronization ones are ridiculous to get 100% in. I should start a history channel. Thank you, Vertigo. I don't know if I would be more into that. I think I would be like, when I combine video games of history, like historical games, I think that's what I enjoy doing the most. You did make a World War I video at one point. That was a good history video. Yes, but that World War I video that I made, it was basing it around Battlefield 1, though, mostly. That was in reference to that, but, yeah.
And this is yours.
No, I don't think we're gonna get news on GTA 6 next week. What do you think of people who praise Fidel Castro and the communist regime of Cuba? If Cubans in America heard people saying that, they would freak out on them. And it's extremely disrespectful to the people that were killed by Castro and also the people who have fled. You know, I will tell you something, is like, these... Most of the time, the people that, like, praise Castro, if you notice, most of the time the people that, like, it's like rich, elitist, like, college kids. Most of the time. Like, people that are, like, you know, have everything that they could ever want, and, like, think Castro is, like, some kind of massive hero to the working class. He's a murderer. Why would they praise Castro? People are stupid. And I'll tell you this also, there there are some people out there that they hate America so much. They just hate America so much that they think that every single country that America opposes is like a good country. Which there have been countries that America shouldn't have invaded, shouldn't have gotten involved in. I will, concede that 100%. There was, dumb things that America has done, definitely. But just because somebody's like against America does not make them a good person. And they think that Castro, because he's like opposes America, was like some kind of, good person or like some kind of hero. Unfortunately, you share the same birthday as Andrew Ditch, the monster of Tonawanda. He just fakes autism, wears diapers, and poisons the family. What? Thank you, Boris Ultima. Wait, what, SSR William? No, I don't think I know how to play Mahjong Gunner. Isn't that the same game that's in Sleeping Dogs? Wasn't he and Che Guevara willing to kill billions? Well, I don't know about billions, because the population of the planet has increased a lot, but Che Guevara and Castro would have killed as many people as it took to achieve their communist utopia. I remember when you crashed out on the Saints Row reboot, it was so funny when I saw you calling the gangster stupid. But it's also, but do you know, there's not only, you don't only have the Castro defenders out there, you also have the North Vietnam defenders, and honestly speaking, I think that there's way more, like, North Vietnam defenders than there is even Castro defenders. Like, out of all the toxic comments I've seen, like, more people defending North Vietnam than even, like, defending Castro. And generally, like, the comments that, like, I read on, like, YouTube videos, like, people saying, like, oh, America shouldn't have gotten involved in Vietnam, and they were saying, like, North Vietnam liberated South Vietnam and all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. So, like, there's a lot of people that are defending North Vietnam when North Vietnam was literally, like, a brutal regime. And destroyed South Vietnam, destroyed the livelihoods and futures of so many people in South Vietnam. Jormungand is actually a really good anime show. I watched that show a couple of years ago. It was actually really good. Now, here's the thing is you can be completely against the Vietnam War. I'm not here to justify it. I do think that, the US was there for too long and it was kind of stupid getting involved. But you can be against the war, but if you think the Viet Cong are, like, good guys, or if you think that the North Vietnamese were good guys, you're an idiot. Like, they did such horrible things, and so many people in South Vietnam suffered because of them. Like, people lost their livelihoods, they lost their farms they had for several generations. The communists took everything, their businesses, their farms. They left them with nothing. They took everything from them. People worked, imagine, like, working generation, in, like, a farm. Your great-grandfather had it, gave it to his, father, then gave it to you, and then the communists came in and just lost everything, and they took everything from you. And then if you complained, they sent you to a re-education camp or killed you. That's what happened in Vietnam. And unfortunately, there's so many people out there, they hate America so much that they think that the North Vietnamese were, like, good guys and, like, liberators. Let's see, Sean McGuire's right here. If you have two choices, GTA 6 or GTA 6 this year, or GTA 6 is delayed till 2030, but in between you get Bully 2, LA Noire 2, and Manhunt 3, what would I choose? That's a tough one. I would say Bully 2, LA Noire 2, and Manhunt 3. I would say that one, yeah, because it's more games, and that's content people have been listening to for, wanting for, like, a long time.
You did real good with that last business, eh?
Yeah, they were bad people, although it's declassified that we attacked ourselves in the Gulf of Tonkin in order to provoke that war. Well, yes, the Gulf of Tonkin incident was fake. You are 100% correct on that. It was a cover-up. So, like, I'm not... the thing about this is, you know, people don't understand a lot of times what I'm saying about this, and I'm not saying you're saying it, but like when I criticize like the communists in North Vietnam, if I call the Viet Cong terrorists, people then like say, oh, you supported like American involvement in the Vietnam War, or like you supported these things. Like, no, not necessarily. Just because I think the Viet Cong are like terrorists does not mean that I support like, you know, intervening in other countries or like, you know, war in another country. It was just that so many people like so many people, like I said, they hate America so much that they are fully convinced in their minds the Viet Cong were like good people and honorable people. When the Viet Cong were a terrorist
Do me a
organization.
real favor if you could save Phineas for me. By the way, you haven't seen a strange bunch about. 25 of them, men and women. If you do,
But about the
you let me know.
but about your point about the Gulf of Tonkin incident, what you said about that, you said that it was a cover up in order to provoke the war. Well, the Gulf of Tonkin was a cover up for the U.S. to enter the war. That is true. But it's not the war. The U.S. did not provoke the Vietnam War. The U.S. did not cause the Vietnam War. Do you know who caused the Vietnam War? It was North Vietnam. The Vietnam War was raging on before the U.S. even got involved in the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War had gone on for like the Vietnam War had gone on for like 25 years. It started like in the early 50s, and then it went on until 1975. It started with the first Indochina War, and the first Indochina War was kind of justified because the Vietnamese were fighting for their independence. They wanted the French out. That's understandable. You know, they were fighting for their independence. They didn't want the French to control their country. They wanted them kicked out. That I don't think was anything bad. But then when you have like the Vietnam War itself, when you have like North Vietnam and South Vietnam split up into two countries, and like the North Vietnamese are just invading the South, and they're basically trying to force communism on the South, and they're killing anybody that's in their way. That was bad. And people think that people call America a warmongering country, but nobody calls North Vietnam a warmongering country, even though the North Vietnamese were the ones who were invading the South. Like, the U.S. did not invade North Vietnam once during the Vietnam War. It was actually the North Vietnamese that were constantly invading, and the U.S. was in the South. If the U.S. had invaded North Vietnam, they probably could have ended the war within a year or two. But the reason the U.S. did not invade North Vietnam was for two reasons. One, because the U.S. did not want to be seen as like imperialist to the rest of the world by invading North Vietnam. And the second reason is that when the Korean War happened and we invaded North Korea, China invaded and got involved. And we were scared of basically China getting involved. So that's why we didn't invade North Vietnam. But North Vietnam were really the ones who started the conflict. The conflict was raging on before America, but people think that like America were the ones who like started the Vietnam War. It's like I said, yeah, I'm gonna have to restart my game. I think my game here is frozen here. But yeah, it's like people like I said, sometimes people are just so biased in their history that they did they mention what happened in Hue in 1968 in the U.S.? Yes, we mention it. We talk about it. It wasn't talked about in my history class. In my history class, when we covered the Vietnam War, we talked about the My Lai massacre that we talked about, but we never talked about the Hue City massacre. But a lot of Americans do know about the Hue City massacre. But the thing, I worked at gas stations and customers spat in my face. I had a customer spit at me too, QC. That's actually assault. You can actually press charges on them. So if a customer is actually spitting in your face, yeah, you can very much press charges on them for that. Very much so. That's assault. I'll join you, General. But anyways, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the about it, and I will just Google it really quick. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, so basically about the, here's what I'll tell you about this, guys, is that when it comes to the Vietnam War, and like I said, I don't want people putting words in my mouth and saying that I support, you know, American intervention in the Vietnam War. What I'm primarily criticizing is the communists in the Vietnam War. What I will tell you about the Vietnam War here is America did not only lose the Vietnam War, but do you know what else America lost? America also lost the propaganda war. So they did not just lose the Vietnam War, but they lost the propaganda war itself. Because the thing I'll say about communists is communists are absolute masters of propaganda. They are the best at making propaganda. Nobody does it better than them. Like, they have the most manipulating, most effective propaganda of any, any ideology in history is communists. They literally have the strongest and best propaganda out of all. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying their propaganda is much more effective than any other, ideology that has existed throughout history. I'm just waiting for your invite, General. Invite me again. But about if you want to know how strong the propaganda is, how strong it is people, the communist propaganda is so strong that people are convinced in their minds the Viet Cong were freedom fighters. Now, a freedom fighter is never going to kill innocent people. They never are. Freedom fighters do not kill innocent people. When they do that, they're murderers at that point. Freedom fighters don't kill their own people. They don't kill innocent people. They fight against people who are occupying them only. They don't target innocent people specifically. And the Viet Cong very much did that. The Viet Cong, they murdered priests. They captured priests. They would execute priests. They murdered Buddhist monks. They targeted Buddhists. They targeted priests. The Viet Cong, they would bomb schools. They literally would bomb schools that they said these kids are from the higher class. So if it was some richer school or some private school, they would bomb it. They would say, oh, these kids aren't working class kids. They're kids from the bourgeoisie, from the upper class. So, like, the Viet Cong did stuff like that. They committed atrocities. They committed massacres. And people, in their minds, they think that the Viet Cong were, like, fighting for their country, and they were fighting for, like, freedom and justice and all this other stuff. But, in reality, it's not true. And going back to this, the My Lai massacre is the worst American massacre in the Vietnam War. The U.S. killed somewhere between 500 to 800 Vietnamese, and that massacre was horrible. It was brutal. And it's completely unacceptable. And the people who did that massacre should have been shot. I think so. I think all the American soldiers that were involved in that should have been executed. I think they should have all gotten the death penalty. It's unfortunate it didn't end that way, but I do think they should have all gotten the death penalty. But here's the thing is when it comes to massacres in the Vietnam War, everybody knows what the My Lai massacre is, but not everybody knows what the Hue City massacre is. The My Lai massacre is actually not the worst massacre in Vietnam. The worst massacre that happened in Vietnam was the Hue City massacre. So in the My Lai massacre, between 500 to 800 people died. In the Hue City massacre, between 2,800 to 6,000 people died. Now, who did the Hue City massacre? The Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese. That's who did it. They entered Hue City and they murdered anybody that got in their way. Anybody that they fought had worked with the Americans. So if you had like a job working with the Americans, like even if you were not a soldier or anything, if you were just like a postman, if you just delivered mail to like American soldiers, they'd kill you. So like they didn't care. If you had anything to do with the U.S. whatsoever, they killed you. They killed between 2,800 and 6,000 people. They pillaged that city. They burnt that city. They did such horrible things in that city. And the Hue City massacre, you can actually see it in one video game. If you play Call of Duty Black Ops 1, you can actually see the Hue City massacre in that. And you see when the civilians are like running through the buildings and they're basically just getting gunned down by the North Vietnamese. That happened. But like I said, because the communist propaganda is so strong, you've never heard about the Hue City massacre. You've never heard about it. Barely anybody knows about the Hue City massacre because the communist propaganda is so strong. And the propaganda is so strong that it makes the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong look like they're heroes, and it makes the Americans look like they're pure evil. Let me see here. Oh, the officers in charge of that should have definitely, if they were out there in the field, they should have been executed, and the officers in that, that were, involved in the planning of that, yeah, they should have been punished as well. Okay, I think my game is, like, completely glitched out. I'm not having, like, any missions start out now, even though I restarted my game here. Oh yeah, the Viet Cong used a huge, tunnel network and a lot of traps. What's your history question, Phoenix? The most disturbing thing about the Hue massacre was that some victims were buried alive, others were killed with shovels and pickaxes. Oh my god, that's... And the thing is, though, is that there are stupid college kids out there that would probably say that the people that died in that were like evil capitalists or like imperialists. That's probably what they would say. Let me start at the posse again here. Form posse? I cannot perform this while in active content? What?
What's possessed you?
Oh, I'm excited for the new AC-130 in GTA, yes. Do a review on it when it comes out. I like your Manhunt 2 playthrough. Thank you, dude.
Well, look who it is. Good to have you.
Okay, let me actually... I'm just gonna go into play poker, then I'll just do that, then. Do I accept friend request on Steam? I could add you, Mech. Just tell me what it is. Do you know that Agent, the game that Rockstar canceled, had so much research put into it and Rockstar employees risked their lives for it as they were put under hostage? What? They were... What do you mean they were put under hostage? What do you know about the Korean War? Well, I'm actually... If you're interested in the Korean War, watch my Mercenaries Playground Destruction playthrough, because Mercenaries takes place during the Second Korean War. It's like a fictional war of North Korea in the future. And I talk a lot about that. But basically, the Korean War started in 1950, and how North Korea formed as a country is that the Soviet Union invaded, North Korea, and during World War II, and what they did was they put Kim Il-sung in power, who Kim Il-sung was like a communist revolutionary who fought against the Japanese. They put him in power. He created the state of North Korea. And then in 1950, 5 years later, he invaded South Korea to try to unify it. So the U.S. occupied South Korea. The Soviet Union invaded North Korea. And basically, the U.S. got involved in the Korean War, and the North Koreans got pushed back. And then the Chinese got involved. The Chinese invaded, and the craziest thing about the Korean War is that Seoul, the capital of South Korea, that city changed hands 3 times during the war. It was captured by North Korea at the start of the war. The U.S. retook it. Then what happened was China invaded, and then took the city back, and then the U.S. retook it again. So, like, that city was just a complete war zone. And here's another crazy thing about the Korean War. A lot of people don't know this, but the Korean War technically never ended, because it never ended in a peace treaty. It just ended in a ceasefire. So it never technically fully ended. And you're the best GTA YouTuber. Thank you. Can a second Korean War ever happen? I don't think so. Do the Guarma glitch? I could try to do that on my next one, Funky. Do I think the Korean War was justified? If you're talking about, like, the UN response in the Korean War, I think it was justified. Like, responding to that. And here's the thing is, this is what I'll say about it, is that, look, the U.S. has done bad things in its history. The Iraq War is, like, an example. The numerous CIA coups in, like, other countries and, like, supporting dictatorships. So, U.S. has done some bad things in the past, but I think that when people look at history, they don't tend to look at also the good things the U.S. has done. And one of the best things the U.S. has done is when it stopped North Korea in the Korean War. That was one of the best things the U.S. had done. Because if North Korea won in that war, what would have happened is South Korea would have gotten completely taken over. It would have been, annexed by North Korea. And South Korea would have been suffering under that same Kim Jong-un regime today. But if you look at South Korea, I think, has even higher living standards than America does. So, America helped with that, too. There was other countries that fought in the Korean War, but, America was a huge part of that. South Korea was almost fully conquered by the time that the U.S. had gotten involved in the war. It was like this little corner that was left in it. And so that was one of the best things that we did, was getting involved in the Korean War and stopping North Korea. And South Korea today is a free and prosperous country. Oh, I actually saw that movie, Gunner. I seen that one.
Just trying to keep my head above water.
That's how it goes.
No, I don't got any pairs here folding. They were held hostage in Cairo for Agent, but when they were researching Agent in Egypt. But about Agent, about that game, do you know what was ridiculous? That game was supposed to originally be a PS3 exclusive, and Rockstar, when Rockstar back then actually responded to fans more than they do today. And back then, the reason that every PlayStation player was complaining was because Rockstar, what they did was they paid Microsoft like millions of dollars. So Microsoft paid Rockstar millions of dollars to make episodes for Liberty City 1 year exclusive to Xbox. So Xbox got it for 1 year before PlayStation did. And what happened is when PlayStation players were upset and they were complaining about that, Rockstar said, PlayStation, you know, please stay with us. And they said, you guys get Agent as an exclusive. That's what they said. Well, we never got Agent. So I remember that's what they said back then. Do I know how to play poker in real life? This game, I know the basics of this game. I'm not an expert, but this one I know the basics, Yasin. Yes, I do know that. He was like screaming for Kim Il-sung. I do remember that one, Gunner.
I'm not one to gossip, but I hear Grover's been sleeping next to the pigs again.
Pro, what about people who defend the Mujahideen in Afghanistan in the 80s? Well, here's what I'll say about the Mujahideen. The Mujahideen were terrorists. They were. I'm not a fan of communism. Oh, 410s? I don't think I've ever seen a force in I've never seen a 4 in poker before. That's a first. 4. Wow, that's crazy. The chances of that 4 tens, that's insane. But about the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, here's what I'll say about them. I'm not a fan of the Soviet Union, but the Mujahideen were terrorists. That's what they were. Doesn't mean I support communism because I criticize the Mujahideen, but the Mujahideen were very much a terrorist group. The Taliban, the terrorist organization that actually controls Afghanistan, they broke away from the Mujahideen. So they were a faction that later broke off from them and ended up taking over the country. But the Mujahideen were radicals. You know, they wanted a theocracy in Afghanistan. They wanted a religious dictatorship. That's basically what they wanted. Women would have no rights under them. You know, there would be no elections. It would just be, like I said, a theocracy. Now, why did the U.S. support the Mujahideen? Simple, because the Soviets were invading, and it was a way to hurt the Soviet Union. That was it primarily. So did the U.S. know the Mujahideen were terrorists? Yes, but the U.S. did it primarily to hurt the Soviet Union. That was the primary reason that they were that the U.S. had helped the Mujahideen so much. But one thing I will say about this is one of the reasons that the U.S. had actually helped the Mujahideen so much, it was actually the Soviet Union's fault. And the reason I'll say that is because the Soviet Union supported the Viet Cong for the entire Vietnam War. And the Soviet Union had sent, like, advisors to Vietnam, trained the Vietnamese, and basically, some of these advisors even took part in military combat in the Vietnam War. I think there was like 1,000 Soviets actually died in the Vietnam War, so there was actually a few Soviet advisors that actually died in that war. But the Soviet Union had provided arms and training to the Viet Cong, and the Viet Cong had done such horrible things. The torture of, like, Americans, the murders, they had done such horrible things against, like, American soldiers and the Vietnamese population that when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, the American public just wanted blood. That's pretty much what they wanted. They wanted Soviet blood as, like, revenge for the Soviets supporting the Viet Cong. And so the public at that point did not even care that the Mujahideen were terrorists because they were just so angry at the Soviet Union for supporting the Viet Cong. So this U.S. supporting the Mujahideen, in a way, that was kind of technically America's revenge against the Soviets. It was like America's revenge for the Soviets supporting the Viet Cong and, like, killing American soldiers. And so the U.S. basically responded with supporting the Mujahideen, who were killing Soviet soldiers. So it was kind of like basically the revenge back at them. It was like, but at the same time even though, like, you know, most Americans wanted revenge at that point, we look at that situation like decades later, And we basically see that it was not a good idea. It wasn't a good idea to support the Mujahideen. It wasn't a good idea to give them, you know, weapons and training. It wasn't a good idea in the end. Even though the Soviets were our enemies, you know, the Mujahideen turned out to be our enemies later on too. So it wasn't a good idea. So looking back on history, it was a. But at that point, you have to also look at history, and you have to also understand what was going on at that time. And like I said, is that if you were an American at that time, like in the 80s when the Soviet Union was invading Afghanistan, you probably would have wanted the U.S. government to support the Mujahideen, because you probably would have been really pissed at the Soviets for what they did in Vietnam, and like all the Americans that they got killed. So that was you gotta look at history at that time. It was also Americans were pissed at the Soviets for supporting the Viet Cong. So that was basically in a way America's revenge, but it backfired. It backfired because then you know the Taliban ended up taking over Afghanistan, and then they attacked us, and that was a giant disaster. In the GTA HD universe, should Las Venturas and San Fierro be part of San Andreas State, or should they have different state names? Well, Las Venturas is in Las Vegas. I mean, Las Venturas is Las Vegas, Nevada. So I would like to see a different state created for that.
Near got sick drinking that shine Earl brought up.
What do I think about the Vietnamese officers in Rambo 2, especially that one guy who got blown up by an explosive arrow by Rambo? Well, that guy was a scumbag. That guy killed the Vietnamese girl that Rambo loved. I remember that too. But his death was kind of cringe. Like, it was kind of weird. He was like running up this little waterfall, like on these rocks, and he was like shooting his handgun. He was just like standing in the middle in the open at Rambo, and then Rambo just fired like his bow at him and just blew him up. It was kind of like a weird death. It was a weird one. But that wasn't my favorite kill in the in Rambo 2. Do you know what my favorite kill in Rambo 2 was? My favorite kill was when he I don't know if you remember the scene. It's when he tricks the NVA into following him into that farm field. Like he kills the chicken, and he kills the chicken, and he sprays the chicken's blood into the farm field, so that when the NVA soldiers follow him in there, they think that he's bleeding. They think that they've hit him. But then what he does, he tricks them into going in the field. And then what he does is he just lights the entire field on fire, and then they're trapped in there with when the entire field is burning, and then he just blows up all the cars on the road with the bow. I think that was my favorite kill in that movie. The thing about Rambo is when that movie first came out, the critics actually hated it. They said that Rambo 2 was a horrible movie, but all the young people actually liked it. And looking back on it now, Rambo 2 was one of the best movies in the 80s. I still think the cops from the first Rambo movie were evil. I think that the sheriff who caused all the problems in Rambo 1, he was a bad guy, but I don't think he was the most evil guy. The most evil character in Rambo 2 was that cop that was firing the sniper rifle at Rambo. He was the most evil character in the second one. He was even worse than the sheriff, that guy. The guy who falls out of the helicopter, I forget what was the guy's name, the character's name, who falls out. He's the only guy that Rambo killed in Rambo 1, but that guy deserved it, and that was pretty much self-defense. You cannot do something like that. Like, he was aiming to shoot. Like, even the pilot was telling him that he was gonna, this was, like, unjustified. Because Rambo was just an unarmed man that was on the run. He beat up a few cops, but he wasn't armed, and he was clearly unarmed, and the guy was, like, trying to shoot him at that point. Like, he was just shooting to kill him. Gate, that was his name, Gate. Yeah, so that was pretty much, you know, self-defense. Rambo killed the police dogs? I don't remember that scene. What was that? When's your next lore video coming out? In 15 days, the Rider lore video. I just have to wait for the copyright claim to get released. 15 more days, dude. Sorry it's taking so long. Okay, I'm gonna win this hand. This hand I'll win. Can I do a top 5? Yes, the Rider lore video is actually a top 5 video. It actually is. So it'll be put in 15 days, but it's top 5 hidden signs that Rider was going to betray CJ. It's a 40-minute video. It's analyzing Rider a lot, so I think you'll really like it. You should do movie reviews. Yeah, the thing about that is I wanted to do movie reviews, but I can't. The reason I can't do movie reviews is because movie reviews are really annoying to do. Because when you... The only way I could do movie reviews is if I do pictures. If I do pictures, like screenshots from the movie, that's the only way I could do it. Oh, he actually won. Oh, he had full house 4 over nines. I had a pair of queens. I thought I had that. But the clips, they get so annoying because there's so many copyright claims. Like, I've used movie scenes in my lore videos before, and I get so many copyright claims. Even if I, like, 30-second clip from a movie in one of my lore videos, it gets copyright claimed. And what I have to do is... The reason that sometimes the video clips look weird in my videos is because what happens is I let the characters talk for like 10 seconds, and then I pause it, and then what I do is I put in the rest of the clip, and that usually gets around the copyright filter. But it's like, if somebody's uploading like the full movie, then yes, it's copyright. But if I'm just uploading like a 30-second clip in like from a movie to like use it, that's free use. That's fair use at that point. That's very much fair use. That is not copyright, and that's why I'll say it's ridiculous. Yeah, the machine gun scene was definitely the best one in the movie, Gunner. But I will say this though, is that out of all the antagonists that Rambo has fought, the Tatmadaw, the Burmese army, and Rambo 4 are the most evil. They're out of all the factions he's fought the Viet Cong, the Soviets, Tatmadaw, and the Mexican cartel. The Tatmadaw were even worse than the Mexican cartel in Rambo 5. So, like, they were, that's I'll say, the Burmese army was the worst in Rambo 4. They were the most evil faction he's fought in the movies. Oh, crap. Somebody's gonna have a flush here. Somebody's gonna have a flush. I'm telling you right now, somebody's gonna have a flush. Oh, man. I'm gonna do a max bet. I'm praying that he doesn't have a flush. Please don't have a flush. Please don't. Please don't have a flush. He's the only other guy with cards. Please don't. Oh, damn. 2 pair of jacks and 10s. Ah, he didn't have a flush, but he had... Damn.
My wife claims a ghost been stealing her milk, but I think it's one of them no-good lowlifes. What in the world is happening to this place? Really not too bad.
Well, here's what I will tell you something. The HTS, that rebel faction that's in Syria, that took over Syria, they're not necessarily the good guys. Like, people think that because that Assad is gone, that automatically makes them the good guys, but no. The HTS could very much create their own dictatorship. They could create their own regime. And I'm pretty sure it's the HTS. Let me just look it up just to make sure I don't get the faction wrong. Is it HTS? Pretty sure it is. Let me see here. I just want to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing here. Yes, it is HTS. So about HTS is an extremist group. That's what they are. They are a fundamentalist group, and they support Islamism. So they are not they're not necessarily good guys. If they transition Syria into like a democracy where like everybody's rights are respected, then I guess, okay, they'll do a good thing. But only time will tell whether they do that. Like, if you just look at the history of that faction, they're extremists. They're not good people. And this is not me defending Assad. Assad is, a scumbag. He's an evil dictator. It's good that he's gone. But the people that fought against him, it doesn't mean that they're automatically good just because they fought against him. So, here's the thing is, I've seen this happen before in Syria, Libya before, the same thing that has happened, because when I was in high school, when I was like a kid in high school, I was like senior year when it happened, it was like September 2011, I remember when it happened, Gaddafi was overthrown by the rebels in Libya. And what happened is, when Gaddafi was overthrown by the rebels in Libya, everybody was cheering us on, the media was cheering us on, the US government was cheering us on, like governments around the world were cheering us on, and they were all saying, oh, this is a good thing, you know, now Libya is going to be like a flourishing democracy, there's going to be peace in Libya, you know, the dictator is gone. But what happened? Was there peace in Libya? Did Libya flourish? What ended up happening is, Libya went into full-scale civil war. Libya has two countries right now. It is two countries. So even though this on the map is Libya, there's two different rebel groups that control two parts of the country. The country is basically split up. So Libya has been in a civil war. There's different factions. There's different warlords. Weapons have gone all over the place. And so Libya is a total mess right now. And it's not, and I'm not defending Gaddafi. He was a scumbag. He was a horrible, person as well. But the thing about this is that if you're going to overthrow these brutal dictators, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. You have to have, like, a whole, idea of what you're going to do after the revolution. But the problem is that a lot of these dictators that get overthrown, they don't have a plan. The rebels don't have a plan. The only thing that keeps them united is the hatred of that dictator. But then once the dictator is gone, they start hating each other. And all these different rebel groups start fighting each other, and it goes into civil war again. So it's that's one of the reasons that America did not go into a civil war, at least not for how long, like 90 years after the more like 80 years after the Revolutionary War ended. So, and the reason that America didn't go into a civil war right away after a revolution was because we had a plan. We all hated the king. We didn't like King George, who was our dictator. We didn't like him. But we had the forefathers who fought in the war, they had a plan. They knew what kind of government they wanted to set up. They were clear on it, what the ideas of their republic would be. And so when everybody was fighting against the King George, we knew what to expect from the forefathers. We knew what to they had disagreements, sure, about politics, but they had there was a common agreement on what kind of government we were going to form afterwards. That's why America didn't fall into civil war after the revolution. But when you look at countries like Libya, for example, the rebels didn't have a plan. They all just hated Gaddafi, and then after Gaddafi was killed, the whole country just went into civil war. It was a disaster. So HTS, to answer your question there, HTS are not necessarily the good guys, and I will tell you something else is I mean, look here, what kind of cards? Hopefully I get one pair here, so hopefully I get something better here. Is there is a very big difference between a Muslim and an Islamist. It is not the same thing. There's a very, very, very big difference. A lot of times people don't seem to understand the difference, but a Muslim is just somebody who practices the Islamic faith. That's it. But an Islamist, on the other hand, is somebody who has radical Islamic ideals, like extreme ideals. Like an Islamist, for example, would be like somebody who believes that, like, women have no rights. That would be like somebody who's like an Islamist. So there's a very big difference between an Islamist and a Muslim. Like I said, Muslim is just somebody who practices the Muslim faith. An Islamist is somebody who has, like, extreme views. They think that Islam should be the government. They think that government should be directly controlled by religion. They believe in a theocracy. That's what an Islamist is. And they're dangerous, like, especially in HTS. Like, controlling a country like that, like Syria, the minorities in Syria are in severe danger. Like, the minorities in Syria could get attacked. Like, the Alawites, the Christians, they could be attacked by the HTS. It could very much happen. So, it's good that Assad is gone, one less brutal dictator in the world, but at the same time I'm not optimistic that the rebels in Syria are going to create, like, a flourishing democracy. They're just probably going to create their own dictatorship. We're going to have to see. But a year from now, we can just look at Syria, and we'll see if Syria is a flourishing democracy or not. It's been, under civil war for, close to 15 years at this point. But it's, we're going to have to see. Did America try to remove the Kim dynasty from North Korea? Not really. The closest we got was during the Korean War. We've definitely opposed North Korea, but we never supported, like, a coup in North Korea. Yeah, I know. The flag of Syria changed. Yeah, I know that.
Heard there was a stagecoach robber somewhere in Roanoke. Anyway.
I got some of my money back. Here, okay. I'm gonna win this hand too. Pro, why are you almost never answer my questions? I didn't donate just so you could ignore me. I'm sorry, Anonymous. I didn't see your your super chat, but I apologize for it. But I'm not ignoring anybody, regardless if you super chat or not. I'm not ignoring anybody. It's just sometimes when I'm talking a lot, I just go into my thing and I'm just talking way too much and a lot of comments pop up, so I'm not ignoring anybody. But if you have like a question, if you want to ask me something, just post your question again and I'll respond to it. There's a few Islamists in Indonesia, but they already disbanded. It's called Front Pembala Islamic Defenders Front in English. Do they have any political power? You said they disbanded, so I guess not anymore, but did they have any political power? But my father is a Tatar, who's from Poland, and the Tatars, they are they're a Central Asian people, who have lived in Eastern Europe for, over 600 years. They're largely an Islamic people, but my father isn't Muslim, but most of my father's family is Muslim, but my family members who are Muslim, they all dislike Islamists because they believe that Islamists make Muslims look bad. And everybody should oppose Islamists because I don't know why anybody would support a state religion. State religion is one of the dumbest things that anybody can possibly support. Oh, I'm gonna win this hand 100%. They don't have power, good that they don't. What was your question on Anonymous also? What? 2 pair aces and 6? Oh, no. Did you know that the US wanted to nuke North Korea in the Korean War, but it never happened? Yes, that is true. It was MacArthur who wanted to do that. But MacArthur didn't just want to nuke North Korea, he also wanted to nuke China. And what happened was he met with President Truman on Wake Island, and Truman's like, explain the Korean War situation to me. What's going on exactly? And MacArthur was like I want to drop atomic bombs on, China and North Korea. And what happened was Truman is like, have you lost your mind? And fired MacArthur. So like, Truman stopped it from happening. But that's what MacArthur wanted to do, is he wanted to just drop atomic bombs on North Korea and China, which would have been a disaster. That would have been horrible. Now, North Korea were the ones who started the Korean War. They were the aggressors in that conflict. But, dropping an atomic bomb is not the solution. No, you can't do something like that. That would have just been horrible. And the thing is, MacArthur almost ruined his legacy by doing that. Because MacArthur did a lot of really good in World War II. He did really good in World War II. And MacArthur also helped rebuild Japan in World War II. Like, there's statues to MacArthur in Japan. Because he helped rebuild Japan after it was devastated. So he did a lot of good in Japan, and he helped set up democracy in Japan. So he got Japan away from its empire system, and he helped introduce democracy in Japan. So he helped reform Japan. He did a lot of good in Japan. But what he did in the Korean War, wanting to nuke China and North Korea, that almost destroyed his legacy. Like, all the good things that he did, that almost destroyed his legacy. That was, you have a 5 high straight? Oh, I do. Okay, I have really good cards here. But, just imagine if that had happened. Imagine if the U.S. had, like, nuked North Korea and China during the Korean War. That would have just been... Oh my god, that would have just been absolute disaster. Millions of people would have died. It would have been horrible. Do you know that the dictator of Libya, can't remember his name, supported the IRA during the Troubles? You're talking about Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi supported a lot of terrorism. Like, he was responsible for Pan Am Flight 103 being bombed. He was responsible for a nightclub in West Berlin getting bombed as well. He harbored terrorists from different countries. Muammar Gaddafi also supported Idi Amin in Uganda. And when Idi Amin invaded Kenya, Gaddafi supported him as well. So Gaddafi was no saint. He was a horrible guy. What do you think about North Koreans kidnapping Japanese people? I actually talked about that in my Mercenaries POD part. I did talk about that. Oh, Full House Force. But I did talk about that in my Mercenaries playthrough. But there was a Japanese communist who hijacked like a plane in the 1970s and ordered the plane to go to North Korea, and he just kidnapped everybody on that plane. I think those people got returned to Japan. Was it do you know what the creepiest North Korea kidnapping that I've seen is? There was this woman who, she was like a captain or a lieutenant. She wasn't like a extremely high rank, but she was a decently high rank in the North Korean army. She defected from North Korea to South Korea, so she escaped to South Korea. Now this woman, after she escaped to South Korea, what she started doing is she started going on South Korean TV. And when she was on South Korean TV, she would talk about her experiences in North Korea. She would badmouth the Kim regime. She would say really bad things about Kim Jong-un. And what happened is, one day, she disappeared. Nobody knows where she was. Nobody knows what happened to her. This North Korean woman that was on TV a lot of times in South Korea, the South Korean police went to her home. They found her car was still there. They found that her clothes were all there. Everything was left in the apartment. So she didn't take anything from the apartment. So where did she go exactly? Then a couple months later, she appeared on TV in North Korea. And she was on TV and she was begging Kim Jong-un for forgiveness. And she was saying that the only reason she went for South Korea was because she was greedy and she wanted money and she just wanted, internet and TV fame. And she was just begging Kim Jong-un for forgiveness. And she said that South Korea is like an evil nation and all they care about is money. They don't care about the people and all this other stuff. And, when you think about this, who would willingly go back to North Korea? She had a very successful career in South Korea. She was a TV star. She made a decent amount of money. She was in a free country. So, who would go back to North Korea exactly? Who would? And that's why most people think that she was kidnapped because of the fact that her clothes and car and everything was there. There was no evidence that she had traveled out of South Korea. So Room 39, who was the North Korean mafia, were probably the ones who had kidnapped her, because the North Korean mafia is state-sponsored by the government of North Korea. So that's probably what had happened. Now, about her life is probably a living hell, because she is probably kept under tight surveillance 24/7. The North Koreans can't kill her. They can't. The reason they can't kill her is because if they kill her, they can't use her for propaganda purposes. So what the South Koreans are going to do is the South Koreans are going to ask us, show us proof that she's still alive, that she's okay. And what they're going to do is they're going to bring her out every couple of years. And they'll be like, oh, look, she's happy. She's right here. She likes North Korea better than South Korea. So they can't kill her. So they're going to keep using her as propaganda. But she probably, wherever she lives, an apartment, house, wherever she currently lives right now, it is probably living hell because she's probably monitored by soldiers. There's probably soldiers that are probably in her house, in her apartment, wherever, making sure that she does not flee again. And it's probably, her life is an absolute living hell right now. That's all I'll say about that. It's like, it's bad enough being in North Korea, but specifically for her life has to be an absolute living hell right now. If I ever play Fallout 3, any tips? Any tips for Fallout 3 specifically? I would say, invest in that one perk. Somebody in the chat who's a Fallout fan, you could probably tell me the name of this. There's a perk in Fallout 3 that whenever you level up, you get like an extra 3 points every time you level up. And that will help you level up all the skills quicker. It really stacks up. Anybody know what the name of the perk is? It's the one where you like get 3 points extra every time you level up. That one, but that perk is really helpful, and make sure you get that perk. That's one when you want to get that always at the start. His name was James Dresnok, not Dresnov. But James Dresnok was like an American traitor in the 1960s. He was like a soldier he was accused of misconduct. He had like investigations pending against him. His like wife was cheating on him, and he got pissed off and he decided to defect to North Korea. And when he went to North Korea, he became like a celebrity in North Korea, and he was he went like on the radio, on TV in North Korea. He's like an American who like lived in North Korea. He went on the TV and radio, and he would just badmouth America. He would just talk crap about America. They used him as like a propaganda tool. He also appeared in North Korean movies, and whenever he appeared in North Korean movies, he would always play as the evil American. That's who he played as. So he's a traitor. The perk is called Educated. Is it called Educated? Okay, yeah. What if Japan split it up into North Japan and South Japan? Well, the thing about that is that was actually the plan. That's what the Soviets wanted to do, is the Soviets were planning on invading Hokkaido, which was the northern province of Japan. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to establish their own state, their own communist state there. Because the Soviets had... What they had done is they took Sakhalin Island from Japan. Japan controlled South Sakhalin Island during World War II, and the Soviets had taken that back from the Japanese, and they invaded, and they were planning on invading Hokkaido. The reason the Soviets did not invade Hokkaido was because the U.S. stopped them. And this is why I say Truman was a better president than Roosevelt. Like, people say that Roosevelt was like one of the best presidents that we had, which, to be fair, he got us through World War II and the Depression, but I do think that Truman was ultimately a better president than Roosevelt, and the reason I think that is because Roosevelt appeased the Soviets too much. He did. He let himself basically be taken advantage of by the Soviets. Truman was not like that. Truman did not let himself get walked over, and what happened was Truman basically told Stalin, if you try to invade Japan, if you try to invade Hokkaido, we will attack you. Like, Truman was not playing around. He basically told Stalin, we will attack you. If you try to invade Japan, if the Soviets try to invade, we will attack you. And so Stalin backed off, and he didn't invade Hokkaido. Now, the thing about this is Stalin was complaining that he didn't get a piece of Japan after World War II, and what Stalin had basically said is, he said that when the U.S. was saying that Stalin was occupying Eastern Europe, like Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Austria, after World War II, Stalin would say the same thing. He would say that, the Soviets took most of the fighting, and we were fighting the Nazis for over 4 years, and so therefore we're entitled to occupy these countries. Now, Truman actually brought that exact same argument back against Stalin when Stalin was demanding a piece of Japan. He said, we've been fighting the Japanese for the last 4 years. We did most of the fighting against them. So by your same logic, you don't have the right to occupy Japan. And Stalin backed off at that point because he knew that his argument had fallen apart. He was just, it just completely failed for him. But yeah, the U.S. saved Japan. The U.S. saved Japan from basically becoming into another Korean War, because that would have happened. If the Soviets had occupied Hokkaido, they would have created a North Japan or a Hokkaido communist state there, and they probably would have invaded South Japan, and they would have caused another, civil war. So that's what I'll say about it, is that the U.S. did a lot of good in Japan. We did a lot of good in Japan after the war. We helped establish democracy in Japan. We de-imperialized Japan. We, protected Japan from the Soviets. So we did help Japan tremendously at the end of the war. So a lot of things that are often overlooked in history. Why did the U.S. go to war with Iraq when they had no nuclear weapons? Stupid, because it was a stupid idea. And honestly speaking, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but my position on this is I think that the U.S. government knew that there was no WMDs. I think they just used that as an excuse to go into Iraq. That's what I think personally. Because if Iraq did have WMDs, they would have launched those right away. Like, if they actually had nukes, they would have launched that at us for invading. So it was, I think they personally just used that as an excuse to go to war. I think it was a stupid war. It was an unjustified war. Have I seen the JFK assassination video? Which one? What the new files that they released, have they declassified that yet? I mean, or yes, they have, but has it been available to the public? Do you think that some people in North Korea were forced to mourn the deaths of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il? Oh yeah, 100%, definitely. The scary thing I'll say about North Korea is when Kim Jong-il died and I saw all those people crying in North Korea, what really scared me about that is I couldn't tell if they were faking it or if they were being serious. That's what I couldn't tell. What do you mean, lost money? Redacted most of the files. Wait, what? It was kind of both, Chase. Oh no, I don't know about that one, LOL. I think I did in a documentary, but You already know Vice City Next Gen trailer mod got taken down. Well, the mod isn't got taken down, but I think it'll be a risk to play that mod on YouTube because the developer's channel was taken. Their channel was taken down. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, I was looking forward to that mod, but here's one good thing about this is regardless of if their channel gets taken down, that mod is releasing regardless. So Take-Two Interactive cannot stop that mod, like they stopped the GTA Liberty City mod. Do you know why they can't stop the Vice City Next Gen mod? The reason they can't stop it is because the mod maker is in Russia. Good luck getting them to take it down. So they're not going to be able to stop that. So they literally Russia does not comply with any extradition laws. So even if Take-Two tried to pursue legal action against them to anything whatsoever, any kind of worldwide lawsuit, legal action, it is not going. The Russians are not going to comply. So it is not going to work. So he's that mod is not going to get taken down. So that's I think the mod maker also planned for that. He possibly knew that was going to happen, but that's all I'll say about it too. They've been heavily redacted, huh? I would have to look up into that more. But let me actually look this up. Vice City Next Gen. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Vice City Next Gen is gone. I was subscribed to the channel. Yup, it's gone. It's not here anymore. Yup, it's gone. Oh man. Yeah. You know, why Rockstar will just keep sinking and sinking. That's just... And that guy spent years working on that project. Years, too. You know, for that crap to happen, that's so stupid for that crap to happen. But... Here's the thing about Vice City Next Gen, guys. I was planning on playing Vice City Next Gen on my channel, but now I don't know. Because even though the mod's not going to be taken down, you're probably going to be able to download the mod, because like I said, the guys from Russia who made the mod. So, you know, no matter what legal action Take-Two takes, they're not going to be able to take that mod down. But the thing I'll say about it is it's going to be risky to play it on my channel. Because if I play that on my channel, they're going to probably strike my channel. That's probably what they'll do. And so that might be risky. I didn't want to play it, but his VG channel is still there. GTA forums in the Telegram. Has he commented on it? Has he said anything about it? I did make merchandise recently. I'm planning on making a I'm planning on making probably a video about it too, or maybe a post. But about my merchandise, if anybody's seen it, it's a picture of me in my hockey mask, kind of costume, and there's a text under there that says there's a GTA mission. There's a GTA mission here, and I was scared that Take-Two was going to copyright claim that, but most people told me that they can't copyright claim you for just the letters GTA. So that's, because GTA could mean so many things, so I was even scared of them doing that, but Roblox games I play, people are saying things like, imagine being Russian in 2025, or bad things about being Russian. Kids today, am I right? Well, I don't, insulting people for their nationality is stupid, and people are not responsible for what their government does. So there's nothing wrong with being Russian, but I don't know, people think that just because a government does something bad, it means that the people are bad too. No. Thank you, Richard. But has anybody seen my merchandise? I don't think that Take-Two Interactive can really do anything, because it's just text. They don't own the GTA font. They don't own that font. It's actually called Priceline font, so it's actually from Price is Right. And my merchandise says there's a GTA mission here, so I don't think that Take-Two can do anything about that. At least I hope not. You need to be more creative for your merch. What didn't you like about it, Mizor? I was trying to brainstorm ideas, and I thought people would like that one.
Oh, pardon.
Oh, I don't have anything to drink. I don't drink alcohol, though. I don't want to risk streaming, you know, the mod, because they could, you know, strike the channel. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's inspired by that, Mr. Juck. Pro, I would just wait a month before playing the Vice City mod. All the LCP PP videos are fine. They probably just don't want the official source spreading. Hope you'll get to play it on the channel. Okay, Nick. I would probably wait a month. But have you seen my my merchandise, by the way, Nick? Like I said, I don't think that there's any copyright issues with Rockstar over that, but I would also like you to tell me what you think. But it's basically a picture of me in my hockey mask, and it just says in the text below there's a GTA mission here, which I don't think they can copyright claim me for the letters GTA, but you know, never know. Take-Two. What are your opinions on alcoholism? What are the pros and the cons? There's a pro to alcoholism? I don't know what's the pro to that. The AN faction in Mercenaries 1. Smooth. Did I see your comment? What's your comment, Phoenix? I would say Winter Frost was when Germany lost World War II. Mainly, their supplies got cut off, food and ammo. Most Germans starved out. This was the most coldest winter in World War II. Well, they expected that they were going to roll over the USSR before winter. That's what they thought was going to happen. Is my Reddit Online character related to your GT Online character? No, they're not even in the same universe, but... Yeah, I can, Zach. Okay, but I guess I'll wait probably like a month for that Vice City mod, and if nobody else is getting a strike for it, then I might give it a chance, but you left what a question, Nicholas? What do you know about Qasem Soleimani? He was the second most important person in Iran before he died in 2020. He was a terrorist and a very evil man. And the thing about it is, what a lot of people don't know is they don't know how happy Iraqis were when Soleimani died. Even though Soleimani was, the top general in Iran, the reason that Iraqis were so happy was because Soleimani had supported these dangerous Iranian militias. And these Iranian militias were going around in Iraq, murdering people, intimidating people, and like trying to control elections. And so Iran was basically trying to turn Iraq into its puppet state. And when Soleimani died, so many Iraqis were happy about that. So Soleimani was a piece of crap. The guy that you actually blow up in Modern Warfare, the beginning of Modern Warfare 2, that Iranian general, is a parody off Soleimani. I like your merch pad. Good work. Thank you. I'll be honest, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they do strike videos down. The Vice City mod is going to absolutely embarrass Rockstar, and they deserve it. Well, I guess we'll see, Nick. But it's like Rockstar is probably the most anti-mod developer that I've ever seen. Like out of all the developers, I say Rockstar definitely is the most anti-mod developer out there. Crunchyroll got hacked. Many accounts got stolen. Oh God, how do I know if I'm affected? I have a Crunchyroll account too. Have I watched any cowboy western movies? Not really, but I have actually watched The Young Riders, which is a 1990s TV show in the Wild West. Oh, Activision, yeah, they're bad too. The thing about that Vice City Next Gen mod, does anybody know, do you need GTA 4 on PC to download that mod, or can people download it without GTA 4? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Do you know the answer to that, Nick? You need GTA 4. You'll need GTA 4 and likely need to downgrade. So then what's the problem then? If you can look, if you could download Vice City Next Gen, right, without needing GTA 4, then I could see more of an argument for it. But if you need to have GTA 4 in order to download the Vice City Next Gen mod, then what's Take-Two's problem exactly? Because there are going to be people who are going to buy GTA 4 on PC just so that they can download the mod, which will also help Take-Two Interactive get more sales. So I don't understand the big deal here. And honestly speaking, I think the primary reason they're going after this mod is because it's going to make the definitive edition look bad. That's probably the main reason that they're going after it. But this is stupid. This is stupid. Guys, tomorrow I'll have a video. I'll have a video about this Vice City Next Gen disaster. But that's so stupid. But like I said, the one thing I do find hilarious about this story, even though the mod got taken down, like the YouTube channel got taken down, they cannot take down the mod itself. And the reason they can't take down the mod, they can't pursue legal action against the guy, and they can't get the guy who made the mod, because the guy that made the mod is in Russia. So literally is they can't go after him, because like I said, Russia does not comply with any legal requests from the West. So because of that, is like the guy to be able to freely publish the mod, and Take-Two can't go after him. They could take down his channel, YouTube channel, sure, which they have, but they can't stop him from actually posting the mod, which he's gonna do. So that's so the guy doesn't care, and that's what I say, when he posts that mod, it's going to make Take-Two Interactive look really bad. Top 10 original games deserve a remake. Yeah, possibly something like that one day. I've got a lot of projects to make at the moment, Hustler. I have drank alcohol, not beer, mind you, but I've had it. Okay, Orion. Saints Row 2 deserves a remake, 100%. But I guess I'll probably be heading out here, guys, because I'm gonna have something to eat. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm kind of hungry. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll still stick around for one more minute here, answer any questions before I go here. Okay, I see you, Mario. Yeah, I will, Wasabi Guy. Dimitri, Angelo. Thank you, everyone. Ever played Dead Space? I barely played the first one. Jonathan Irons from Advanced Warfare. The guy played by Kevin Spacey, he was a scumbag. Ever watched Full Metal Jacket a long time ago? No, I haven't seen that one, LOL. Chinese treasure ships from the 1400s? No, I haven't heard about that. Did I ever watch FPS Russia when I was a kid? Yeah. I remember his channel. He wasn't even from Russia. Thank you, Missouri. But I guess I'll be going here, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this stream. If you did, do drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.